everybody, my name is Tanya and welcome to Would You Rather BookTube edition. So this tag was created by Rachel and Katie at Ray K Books and I was tagged by Joe at Joe Reads Books. I've been deliberating about my answers to these since the first Would You Rather video that I watched, and I don't think I've still decided on my answers properly, so let's just get into this and see what happens. So the first question is, would you rather read only trilogies or standalones? And some of my favourites are trilogies or series, but I'm going to go with standalones for this one. I think the vast majority of what I read are actually standalones. And while I love for the story to keep going and to get completely immersed in a world of a series, there are just so many good standalones out there, so I'm going with standalones for that one. Question number 2 is read only female or male authors, and this is one of the ones that I've had the most trouble deciding about because I don't actually consider the gender of an author when I'm choosing a book or when I'm reading a book really what the gender is. I had a quick count of what I've done this year and I think it's a pretty even split between male and female authors, and I think that's probably pretty true of most years of my reading and probably pretty true of my favourites too. It's a fairly even split between male and female authors in my favourite lists. I also don't think it makes all that much difference in terms of the book. There are some books that I love that are male authors writing female characters or female authors writing male characters. I think that the good author can write either and equally successfully and not have it be an issue of what gender. However, in the interest of choosing something for this, I'm going to go with female authors. And I'm not going to question it too much because I'm going to start regretting it immediately. So female authors. Number 3 is shop only at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. And in Australia I'm going to swap this out for Dymocks, the main physical bookstore chain here that's left, with a lot of them closing down. And I'm going to switch it with Book Depository for my online shopping of choice. And out of the two, I do the majority of my shopping through Book Depository just because of the price and the fact that it's free shipping to Australia and everywhere for that matter, which is a huge draw card in their favour. But I do occasionally go into a physical bookstore and love browsing in there. But in terms of would you rather, Book Depository. Question number 4 is all books become movies or TV shows? And the main problem I have with books to movies is the fact that they cut out so much. So my immediate thought was TV shows because you've got more time to get more scope and to include more details and get the full story properly. But the problem with the TV show is if it's popular and they run out of the storyline and it keeps going and going and going and they're having to invent new stuff that isn't actually in the books, and I don't like that either. So my answer to this is TV shows, but a specific kind of TV show, and that is a BBC miniseries, because I think that's the perfect balance between a movie is too short and a TV series can just go on and get out of hand. But the BBC miniseries adaptations of the classics are just perfect and so true to the original storyline that I think everything could stand to have a BBC adaptation, because I think that they would do a fantastic job. Question number 5 is read 5 pages a day or 5 books a week, and 5 books a week. Moving on. Question number 6 is be a professional reviewer or author, and for this I'm going with author. Author is always something that I talked about as a child as a potential future career, but that nothing is really, well, nothing I've tried to come from it really. It was just one of those things that you float around of, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I'd like to be an author. Now question number 7 is the hardest, most evil question of the bunch, and it's only read your top 20 favourites over and over or only read new books. And I love rereading, like I adore rereading my favourites. I probably wouldn't be able to narrow it down to a list of 20 favourites. That sounds like a hard enough thing to try and do, but I really enjoy rereading. But I'm going to go with only read new books because there's so much out there and so much waiting to be experienced and discovered. And the fact that I've called myself ListObsessedReader on here and that I am obsessed with book lists and love checking what I've read off book lists, I'd never be able to check anything new off again if I stopped reading new books, and I don't think I could deal with that. So I'm just going to have to trust to my memory for my favourites and read only new books. Question number 8 is be a librarian or a bookseller, and this is a very easy question for me because I already do work in a library. All of my jobs have been library related and I love it and wouldn't want to change it for anything. Question number 9 is only read your favourite genre or every genre except your favourite, and I'm not actually sure what my favourite genre is. Sometimes I think maybe it would be fantasy. I'm a big reader of literary fiction. Not quite sure whether that's exactly a genre, but The main point is I read really widely. I read from a lot of different genres and I have a really eclectic taste that encompasses a lot, so without actually being able to specify which genre it is that I wouldn't be able to read anymore, I'm going to go with every genre except my favourite because I love the variety that that gives. And question number 10 is only read physical books or ebooks, and this was another easy one because have you seen my collection? I love physical books. I do have an e-reader and I do occasionally borrow from the library or have stuff on my Kindle that I read, but definitely physical books over ebooks. I'm just sitting here feeling so glad that some of these scenarios are not reality and nobody's going to make me stop rereading. And nobody's going to make me stop reading books by a certain gender or author because I could not deal with this. As always, thank you all for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!